I actually believe that there are imbalances in the silver market, in particular between the physical market and the paper market. And that's what we ran into. There's tons of silver that trades every day in the physical markets. I actually think that the young adherents to the silver squeeze were onto something. I think their problem was that they bought a long-term narrative and they took in short-term tactics. I actually believe that there are imbalances in the silver market, in particular between the physical market and the paper market. And that's what we ran into. There's tons of silver that trades every day in the physical markets. Some days, 100 times more silver transacts in the paper market than exists for good delivery in the physicals market. It was our bad fault. It was our bad fortune to run into that, literally. Chris said, we got through it, but it contributed to my baldness.
Oh, you still look good. You got plenty up there. You got.
But I think that the people who were interested in the arithmetic around the silver squeeze didn't understand that they needed to be persistent and tenacious. In other words, that the unraveling of the dichotomy between the physical market and the paper market could take 5 years to unwrap. And many of the youngsters who were involved in the silver squeeze had a much more limited time frame. They wanted it to happen in 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And I suspect that many of them employed much too much margin. If you're paying margin interest for 5 years, if the event that you're hoping to participate in takes 5 years and you're paying 8% a year, you might not be early. You might be wrong
Yeah.
If you're an interest payer. And I think that's what some of the youngsters in the silver squeeze ran into.
Yeah, and interesting. You mentioned not 5 weeks, but 5 years. We're almost 4 years in, so maybe next year will be the year. Although, Rick, I remember
Well,
shortly.
remember that a lot of the retail participation in the silver squeeze abdicated. Uh, they haven't held the silver for 5 years. When silver didn't meet their expectation, they liquidated in favor of meme stocks, in favor of Bitcoin, in favor of some other speculative asset. So 5 years would have involved them continuing to, in their parlance, stack. That didn't happen. They decided to take on the banks, and the banks kicked their ass. Let's get this straight. It doesn't change the equation. What the Silver Apes hope to cause to occur will be done by the market in the market's own time. It will take place, likely without the apes.
So you still do see that as an event that
Yeah,
can we say is a matter of when rather than if, a statement I know you like to
absolutely.
use.
Yeah, I mean the disconnect between the futures market and the physical market is as broad as it ever was. And the disconnect that we at Sprott faced, which is to say the temporary increase in demand relative to the system's ability to effectuate good delivery supply, is there. And we weren't big buyers. You'll recall that at that point in time, over the course of a year and a half, we probably accounted for $1.5 billion or $2 billion in demand. We were the players because we were the only instrument that took silver out of circulation. The ETFs ebbed and flowed on a daily basis. When the market replaces Sprott, which will happen, that really truly changes the equation.
Certainly wild times in the silver market. And fortunately, if you're finding these clips interesting, did just want to let you know that Rick Rule's Symposium is coming up this July 7th through 11th. It's live in Boca Raton, Florida, although also will be streaming online. I will be there in person, recording interviews, saying hello, learning, and just having fun meeting people. And to find out a little more about what's going to be going on at this year's symposium, well, just click on the video that's coming your way now.